It looks so strong on paper. We've got former world champions. Haven't performed yet, but finally a win there, and it was a big clinical one as well. So Vici going to swap to the blue side now. They'll ban out LeBlanc, actually, as their first pick, and Rek'Sai going to go into the bin as well for Gamtee.
Yeah, once again, Red Side just going to ban Rek'Sai every single time. And yeah, you mentioned it. If there was a team that the Western fans were going to latch on, Dandy, Marta, Vasily, all these well-known players here. Tong plays such a fun style of League of Legends. Why would you not want to support that guy? So able to get their first win, and Gamtee showed signs of life in that one. I wouldn't be surprised if they came out pretty strong again.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I think, the series where a lot of people look at, and Vici looked at after a really tough weekend in the first week, and be like, okay, pretty sure we can win this one, get things back on track, stuck in this synergy together. And for them, it almost feels like, you know what, we just want to get together as a team. There's a few more bands coming through, Lysandra, Cassidy, and get on track and start getting the synergy together. But Gamtee are like, you know what, we'll see what we can do. We can maybe give them at least a run for their money.
Yeah, and they forfeited early objectives quite well with a Tristana. Just let them go, didn't really commit too much to them. And I guess that third dragon fight was the one that really swung it. You felt if they had a shot to get into the game, that was going to be their window, and it just missed out. 2 members survived on slithers of health, were able to pick up the dragon on the side of Vici, so they definitely deserved to win, but Gamtee played that pretty well in their own composition.
Yeah, Fizz banned there as well, and you're absolutely right. Gamtee playing great, but Vici maybe just playing better. Their team fighting was out of control. Finally, the big utility team with great vision and great synergy coming together a little bit more now. Dandy and Marta doing their jobs and everyone else doing theirs as well, and that was the big change for me.
Yeah, it certainly was, and I can see why they got rid of that Fizz, because if Marta hadn't have been on point that game, that could have been a hell of a lot different. Leo went absolutely ballistic. I actually think if he had stayed in the split push a little bit longer, the game might have ended up a little bit differently, because he was definitely taking it to Hotong at one point, as Azir also being taken off the board.
Yeah, so kind of a curious final ban here, and Vici going to consider their first pick now as well. Plenty of champions open, and Vasily says, I want Sivir again.
Yeah, why not? Worked out very well last time, and with the Janna still up, they can take that one as well. In response, looks like they will be answering with a Jarvan, who does very well against the Sivir, doesn't have the repositioning tool, and can really lock her down in those team fights.
Yeah, and just a strong champion. I love this from GT, blocking 2 key picks there away from Dandy and Mata, the Korean duo. Janna for them and the Jarvan as well.
Yeah, but it does mean that Lee Sin and Rengar are both available for Dandy to maybe jump on, and plays both of them extremely well. I don't think you can pick too much away from this guy. Also means Nah will get around to the 3rd round and could go into the top lane for carry.
Yeah, forgot about Nah. They might be picked up here for Vici. Carry's Rumble looking good, but they do want a bigger tank here. Nah and Thresh there, Marta's 2nd string. It's a pretty good one for him as well.
Yeah, and there is a scary amount of engage currently coming out of Vici with that Sivir ultimate. The Nah, Thresh able to get in there and land some hooks as well. And the response is quite a good one. Leo going for a Xerath, just looking to poke from long range.
And looks like we're going to consider 80 carries here as well for GT, but we'll see what they want to go for. And Xerath is one of those champions that, like in teamfight heavy regions, you don't feel like would be that good, but I actually think has almost an underrated amount of teamfight control with the slow and the stun.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and all the AoE potential it brings with that ultimate and the long range Q definitely does work out in teamfights. And I guess his one weakness is if they have a Sivir, he is immobile enough that he can get leapt upon. So I guess they need to do a good job of protecting him with the Janna, but if they can do that, yeah, he can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, we've seen what happens when Corkies with Morgana Black Shields are able to get in aggressively with his short range. They blow people up really swiftly here. As Vici going to consider their last 2 picks now for their draft. You mentioned the Rengar, Dandy Cookco there. He's got a couple of options there as well. And Vici going to line up a pretty aggressive teamfight comp here. Syndra and Rengar round out their draft.
And they can start a fight from absolutely anywhere. That stun is so long range, going to be able to speed Rengar up and really start those fights with the On the Hunt. I like the team coming out of Vici Gaming so far, and a little bit of confusion I feel coming out of Gamtee. They have some good disengage, some good kite back, but then they also have a very heavy engage combo between the Jarvan and the Rumble. So trying to get a little bit of everything into their comp, and it'll be interesting to see how it works out.
Yeah, and I do like Sivir Rengar as well. I feel like we're seeing a bit more of this pairing now. You mentioned Lee Sin, who's open. He's falling through this draft, but instead, they want something a bit more synergistic with Sivir. And I know Atlas loves it. On the Thrill of the Hunt, that's the combo we've got here for Vici.
Yeah, it certainly is. And also a very good build path for Rengar. Can go into that Locket of the Iron Solari, and it just gets him so many early stacks. All you do is you pop it in the team fight. Great double AP comp, and it just gets you so many stacks early in the game, especially with how early we're team fighting around the 12-13 minute mark, and really sets you up for a very smooth transition for Rengar.
And thank you for mentioning Locket. That item is almost quintessentially Chinese, because you're right, they team fight so much that it's like, you know what, even if you do have maybe a double AD or maybe just one mage, I want this Locket because it just helps the team fighting so much.
Yeah, well, it's a great item for just the aura, and then it gets ahead off that shield. 3 members it hits, very gold efficient.
Yeah, really nice stuff. And both comps, again, very strong. Gamtee, I felt, had quite a good draft in the first game as well, possibly even a better draft, some people were thinking on Twitter. So we'll see what happens, but I like what Vici have got. But Gamtee, they have a plan as well. I almost feel like we always see Janna and Rumble together, though.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the Janna Xerath and Janna Corki is good. But then I don't like Janna, Jarvan, and Rumble together. So I think that they've got like 2 mini comps within themselves. There's long-range poke and then a very good follow-up engage. So it all goes down to execution. This comp doesn't make much sense on paper, but you can see how they're trying to work it out.
Yeah, and again, options here. Gamtee definitely fought well in that last game, so pretty curious to see exactly what they want to do. Vici looking strong again. They really want all 3 points here and pick up this next move. But we are going to cut to a quick break, guys. We'll be back any second now for this next game. And welcome back. We are onto the rift here for Game 2 between Vici Gaming and Gamtee. What a great first game it was for Vici as well. They're on the blue side here for the second game of this best of 2. Gamtee on the right. There'll be a red team. Looks like both are just going to spread out here at level 1. And we'll see what they want to get done with their early warding and movements.
Yeah, it certainly looks like nothing funny once again coming through. Thresh a little bit better at invading than last game. There was a Nami in the game, so that hook can be used to good effect. But both teams just happy to start the game off reasonably calmly.
And I think if we think about the last game as sort of a framing device for this particular one, Vici looking to continue their crisp play and tighten that up even more, get the synergy going, because even if this is a game that they expect to 2-0, they still want to make sure they get good practice in. It's no point being lazy. For Gamtee, it's their chance to show off here against a very strong team here in Vici, even though they haven't had the best early results, and really be a bit more decisive and a bit more aggressive.
Yeah, I think Vici, now that they've put a good game together, are looking to really condense it, maybe close it out a little bit earlier than they're able to. And for Gamtee, it's all about, okay, we've had flashes of brilliance, good little skirmishes, 5-minute patches. Can we put it together in a 35, 40-minute game and actually steal one? Because they haven't been able to do it so far.
Well, we'll have to see. Right now at level 1, seems like standard lanes will be broken out into any second now. Curious to see if either dual lane wants to pick up a small camp for themselves, but right now no one really positioned. I guess Dream and Tail could rotate up if they wanted to. But it looks like Dandy is going to start on the bottom side with Danger on the top. That could give a small lead to the dual lane of Gamtee.
Yeah, it certainly could if they choose to take that Gromp away. Pastry time, I'm still extremely confused as these people continuing to take Corki into a Sivir matchup. It just doesn't make much sense to me. Sivir just wins the lane pretty comfortably, and even if she doesn't, just gets out without being punished enough for my liking. I really am looking forward to when they start adapting to the Sivir pickup and trying to punish it in lane.
And we've seen a bit of adaptation there as well. Tandy getting low, but he'll be just fine in his jungle early on as he smites away the red buff. And I think I agree with you. We've seen a bit of adaptation. Caitlyn, I think, in particular, trying to punish that. And even Deft had a decent go on Ezreal. But why is it that Corki specifically just can't get a hold on this lane?
Because Sivir can use her Ricochet to push out the wave and harass at the same time. Where if you stand off the creeps, as Vasily's just done there, Tail has to choose. Does he push the wave? Or does he harass with his phosphorus bomb? And once it's under your turret, that choice goes away completely. You're forced to just farm underneath the turret. No harass is going to go out whatsoever and doesn't really provide much to follow up ganks. So it's just one of those matchups that Sivir is one of those utility ADs that if you don't punish her enough, just gets away with too much in lane.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Sivirs get carried away here. As Vasily and Mata, exactly what you said, Spawn, going to put into this turret early on as Tail and Dream will try and fend this off as the best they can. No early CS leads yet, but Vasily going to be relentless in his almost solo pushing there in the bottom lane. In the mid, a pretty curious matchup as well. It is Syndra versus Xerath, very poke heavy. Yeah,
it certainly is, and Syndra kind of has to overcommit onto Xerath to really get any kill happening, so not much kill potential, particularly when you look at Leo's summoner spells. Has elected to take that barrier up, will be able to farm from range, absolutely fine, and Xerath is one of those quasi-counter picks. Doesn't really zone Syndra off too much unless it's very well played, but does mean that it won't be that snowball-heavy lane that Syndra does like to play.
Yeah, and up in the top, Carry and Let Me just hanging out. Nah versus Rumble here this particular matchup. They're farming away here. Carry actually going for a long sword here to start things off.
Yeah, going to transition into that Hex Drinker nice and early. The 3 pots just help with the sustain, and this is the reverse of what we saw last time, Pastry Time, so will be good to see if Let Me can play as good as Rumble as what Carry did last time around.
I mean, is there any particular nuances to this matchup that people want to look at? Because this is getting quite common now in the LPL, especially. Nah versus Rumble is seeing a lot more attention.
Yeah, I think that it comes down to Rumble just tries for like the first 9 levels to ignore Nah as much as possible. That's why you see them take Cloth Armor or Duran Shield. You want to sustain through that damage, get a couple of Harpoons down, follow up for ganks where you can, but otherwise just concentrate on the perfect CS. If you get those 2 Magic Pen items as Rumble before the Dragon fights start happening, you win the lane just because you're a Rumble.
Yep, so Danger now going to clear out the Scuttle Crab for himself. I believe Dandy cleared out the top side Scuttle Crab as well, so Crab deft left, right, and center as Danger will now continue his jungle path as well.
Yeah, looking to get in behind this Sivir lane, which is a very good decision. Actually doesn't go for the gank, so Vasily and Mata pushing up very aggressively could have been punished there, but do look like they back off, so they're doing a good job of not giving any tells.
Yep, Corki keeping up as well. Vasily and Mata actually back off there, knowing that they don't have basically any ward coverage towards the bottom side of that jungle, so want to keep that cleared up. Danger actually going to get the Raptor here as well. And now Carry in the top lane going to find Let Me and Dandy. That's a great boulder from Dandy. And Carry and Mega Form going to try and dive in. They're going to go for it. Dandy, though, doesn't have enough health, and they do give it up.
Yeah, is able to burn the flash on Rumble, so that will be an easy repeat gank if Dandy does want to visit that before level 6. Wise choice to not turret dive just because our Harpoons were back off cooldown, so overall, a very good first gank coming out of Dandy. And I like the jungle item pickup here. Going for that AoE clear helps Rengar out a lot. After the last patch, able to swap it out for the Chilling Smite when you do want to start ganking. But it's just so important to transition Rengar, who is easily counter-jungled on this patch, into a smooth level 6.
Yeah, Hetong actually backing off. Does get delayed a bit there by Danger's Jarvan, sorry. And now we'll just go back himself. I think Leo's probably going to try and be as annoying as he possibly can, clearing out, I think, a pink ward there on the side, or just a green ward with the vision ward, sorry, that is placed in the left-hand side of the brush.
Yeah, so he got the first shot. That's why he's a little bit of CS behind. We'll go back and mirror it, Will Hetong. So absolutely nothing really happening in this mid lane so far. Just nice, heavy CS coming through for both lanes.
Yeah, we do expect a bit of a farm lane to develop there, and that seems like what's going on, especially while those ultimates are starting to come out. Mata roaming quite aggressively, though, puts down a very deep pink ward there in the top left-hand side of the jungle. Yeah,
and the vision denial starts already. What Gamtee has done different this game, however, is get those 2 deep wards into Rengar's jungle to understand exactly where he is. I speak a lot about Rengar Thresh and how Rengar actually Thresh allows Rengar to gank bottom earlier than any other support player, just because he can lantern him into that brush for the free gap closer. So look to see him maybe get down there and try and affect a gank early on.
Yeah, we'll see. But both teams clearly are respecting the Dragon here early on, wanting to get deep vision on the side of the map, try and make sure they have control over the area and get in as much as they possibly can. And you talked about Vici wanting to get early vision before objectives come up to have complete control. Gamtee mirroring a little bit of that here as well.
Yeah, they're trying their best to. Those wards will expire shortly, but they've been able to spot out exactly where Dandy is. The pink ward on the bottom side of the jungle is just so important. That being cleared out at this point is just devastating for Gamtee. Danger will respond sweeping out the ward himself, but overall, Dandy and Mata secure vision for their team better than any duo.
Yeah, Danger does find that pink ward Mata placed down. And Dandy now will look at mid lane as next potential target here. Level 5 now for Dandy. Does have, I think, close to max Fury as well. 4 stacks of 5 there. Hetong, they're going to continue farming up here, and Dandy does give it up. Again, very farm heavy here in the mid lane. CS looking good as well. 63, pretty much to 63.
Yeah, and Dandy, once again, not necessarily looking for his own gank, looking for the counter gank, understanding that Jarvan is a much better pre-6 ganker, so ensuring that as soon as he sees him, he's in the same lane. Don't back into your jungle, because that can mean that the gank comes through before you can affect it. So sticks around for a couple of seconds, gives up some of his own time. There was no major camps up anyway. And now we'll go back and just farm up his red.
Yeah, and that's what Dandy was known for at Worlds as well. He always was in the right place at the right time. That is not a coincidence. Dandy is always thinking about what the other jungler is doing, where the map movements are happening, and trying to be in the right place at the right time. And right now with the lanes being nice and calm, Dandy is just farming up now, trying to maximize the time between looking for these lanes in the counter ganks and make sure he gets his own farm as well.
Yeah, he definitely is, and he is equal in that CS as a nice stun comes through from Hatong in the mid lane. In the top lane, a big CS gap is actually starting to come through for Carry. After that flash was blown, Let.Me had to play much more safely, so able to grab that Hex Drinker and really start dictating pace of this lane. Dandy going up there to gank now as well.
Yeah, and that flash is not back either, so Dandy with very strong timing. Carry, level 6, does not have his ultimate, it looks like, use it already, but is Mega Gnar if they want to look at a dive here. Dandy's level 6 with max stacks as well. So they could look for the dive of the wave. A little bit of an awkward spot to go for a dive, but Dandy's being patient.
Yeah, he certainly is. Let.Me try to bait the back there to get Carry to push it forward. Does so now.
Yeah, Carry with a great bounce there as well. There's the Equalizer going down, but Carry is going to do the damage. Dandy got to be careful, but that's going to be a kill. And Gnar secures first blood.
Yeah, a little bit of split focus coming through for Let.Me. They got both players very low. Decides to try and clean up Dandy there, who didn't have the Hex Drinker. But in the end, nice kill picked up for Gnar. That's a 20 CS lead now. And Vici really rolling in this top lane.
Yeah, Vasily does block the rocket, gets some mana for himself as well with the spell shield. Mata returns to the bottom lane here in the 2v2, and even CS is actually a good story here for Tail.
Yeah, it certainly is, and Hook just misses there.
That would have been the bad story.
Yeah, that would have been horrible. As we see Vasily continue trying to push this out. Now that the Sheen's been picked up, Tail can trade reasonably well with the rockets and the auto attack poke that comes through. So we'll be trying to force this lane back in his favor.
Yeah, will indeed. And that's one of the things we mentioned that, early on Sivir definitely has good pressure against Corki because he's just so mana intensive that he can't AoE clear enough. Rockets does change the equation there, though.
Yeah, it certainly does. There's a big difference between having to spam Phosphorus Bomb to push out as opposed to spamming Rockets. Just able to do them nearly on cooldown and shove the wave out pretty relentlessly. And
we've had a pretty calm 9 minutes, actually. Just the first blood there with Dandy having a very patient gank there, timing that flash beautifully. The first dragon fight, is probably our first big point of contention with multiple team members joining in for that fight. Just based on comps here in the early game and how it's played out, how do you think that dragon fight might play out?
I think that it depends whether the pick can go through from Vici. I don't think they're looking for a 5v5. I think they're looking to use Dandy and Hatong in the mid lane on that Syndra to try and isolate someone, get a nice pick, and then transition it into an objective. Be that the mid lane turret, which would be very nice to have with a Sivir and Rengar on the map, or the first dragon.
Yeah, and we saw that a bit with King in the last series as well, actually, where Sivir and Rengar just would go in and use their ultimates. They had Xerath, I guess, to pick people off there. Just getting one pick is enough, even if you have to use multiple ultimates. That was, the old school Chinese style that we used to see that was dubbed the freight train. And there's a little bit of that there with On the Thrill of the Hunt. That's a stupid name, but we'll go with it.
Certainly is, and being able to, I guess, just charge down one member, especially if you get ultimates out of the other team, is just so worthwhile. As we see, a mass recall actually coming out of Gamtee.
Yeah, Vici did actually get that dragon. Apologies that we missed a bit there, but game does continue now. So we seem to have sorted out all of the issues. Dandy hanging out in the brush here. And Vici will be happy. They do secure their first dragon and a very similar start to game 1.
Yeah, but a couple of kills went across to Gamtee in that one. The jungle and top lane are able to pick up a kill each respectively. So able to get at least something for that dragon. And that was because I'm going to assume Vici didn't wait for the pick this time around. Gamtee were able to teleport down and just a little bit too contested.
Yep, that Rumble always good. Danger going in. That's a good hook for Mata, but Dandy wants to dive in. No flay forthcoming as their Tong's going to rotate in. Gnar back there for Let.Me. Gets walled behind and carries, tanking all of the tower hits. Mata going to line up this hook. There's Syndra looking for the stun as well. Good boulder there for carry as well. And Hatong will pick up that kill.
Yeah, the ultimate also comes through from Leo. Not able to take anyone down. So a good rotation through from Mata and Dandy, able to blow a lot of summoner spells. In the bottom lane, actually, Tails solos out Vasily.
Yeah, and that's bad news for Vasily. Left alone there with Mata going to the top, and Corki, he might not have a good time in lane early on, but he is a great duelist against Sivir.
Yeah, he certainly is now 1, 0, and 2 with 2 components of that Infinitive Triforce coming through for himself. Top lane turret does fall on the side of Vici, so Carry really starting to get going. 50 CS advantage on this Gnar, and he's going to be so huge.
Yeah, Gnar just powering through. There's a lot of reasons why Gnar doesn't get through very often, and Carry doing a stellar job so far on that champion with his score. Just moving through again, Morel and Normacon's been completed for both mid laners, so Syndra and Xerath powering up there with their first early item, and Mata wants to hook onto Tail, but he will get the tower. First bottom tower there for GT, and first of the game for themselves as well.
Yeah, so Tail able to turn this lane completely on its head. Picked up a CS advantage for himself as well now, as well as that turret. So this mid game, once again, extremely close. Gamtee definitely sticking in there with Vici Gaming.
Yeah, with no Dragon to fight for here, and Baron not available at least for 7 minutes and likely not contested at 20 anyway. We're going to have a bit of a lull here as the teams look to jockey for position and farm up a little bit more. Corki's Trinity Force, though, would have loved to have that in the last Dragon fight, but that's a big timing for Gamtee's carry.
Yeah, it certainly is, especially when you compare it to Vasili's item. Sitting on a pickaxe and double Dorans along with those boots, that's just... They're completely separate now in terms of power spikes until Vici is able to go back and grab an Infinity Edge even. This BF sword might not even help him out.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Siva struggling a bit. That's very different to the game Vici had in game 1 here between these two. Had a very strong Siva game, but not the same start here as Dream will look to get some wards down.
Yeah, and good move from Gamtee here, securing their vision of their own jungle, trying to get some pink wards down and deny vision from Vici. The reason that Dandy and Mata were able to go so aggressive is because they knew where exact members of Gamtee were in that fight, able to isolate out the top lane and let me and pick him off in a kill.
I actually even like that they're just moving Corki into a slightly safer spot to farm as well. Can't really siege down a tier 2. It's a little too far down the map towards enemy territory, so going to give Tail the free farm in top lane.
Yeah, especially because it is the bottom side of the map. So sieging a tier 2, especially when... Ooh, Dandy's popped his ultimate.
He wants to go in here. He's kind of alone, but Vasily is running in. Does miss the bowler, and Dandy taking a little too much damage. Let me almost overheating, though. Vasily, though, will come in. Dandy with another great bowler. Jumps back on top as well. And now Vasily going to chase in. The smite, I think, went down there as well. Vasily still going in. Another bowler hits. Danger over the top, though. Might be able to get Vasily, and will get the trade. Mata can lantern him out. And Dandy will take it, though, to safety. Leo's coming in. That's a good stop. Mata actually hooked him. So the teleport's now coming through here for Carry, who's going to join in on this now. Mata with the box. Can't quite trap Leo, who flashes out of the way, but Carry will chase in there, bounces on top of his head, and there's another kill.
Yeah, really good teleport coming through from Carry in the top lane, just making sure that Leo wasn't able to swing anything. Will give up a turret for his team, but overall a very good trade coming out for Vici.
Yeah, Tail will take it, but 1,000 gold lead now for Vici Gaming, and that next Dragon's up in a minute 40. Tail will take the second turret for his team in the third overall in this game, but a blue buff still going to be taken here. Looks like, I guess Dandy probably takes this one. It doesn't really matter.
No, it definitely doesn't matter. They do give it to Dandy probably for that ultimate. When he uses it, they want to get it back off cooldown as soon as possible. He can go back and pick up his jungle item as well before this next one. 1, 0, and 3, and using that brush in the last gang to great effect.
Vasily not going to have his Infinity Edge up for this second Dragon fight, though, it looks like. So going to be a bit of a lull for him in terms of personal power. Hetongo powering up with his needlessly large rod. So things looking decent here for Vici's next Dragon fight, but you have to be careful fighting Dragon against the Corki that's just got his Trinity Force and his Silk Shoes.
Yeah, you certainly do, as well as a Rumbler who will be able to no, it won't be in time, so not going to have that Haunting, guys, but does have the tier 2 boots. Actually is backing now, so he is looking to pick it up beforehand.
Really strong timing there. Gamtee even getting their vision down now as well, so shades of Vici Gaming from the last game here. Didn't get the first Dragon, going to look to get... No, never mind, they did get the first Dragon, actually. So yes. Looking for a second. Yeah,
so looking to pick up their second Dragon as they come through here. With the Xerath poke, they are in a good position to do it, although they're starting to fall behind in CS. The danger is how big Carry is. He's nearly got that Randuin Omen. 50 CS up as well as a kill on his direct lane opponent. And whilst they have a stronger Corki now that Corki's picked up those Sorcerer shoes, I think that the Nara is still just massive in this fight.
Danny going to clear things out. Vision going to get reaffirmed here by Vici as they try and get a bit of a contest going here. Good protection of the pink ward though by Gamtee using Leo's Xerath there to great effect. Dragon is back now. Mata is actually backing possibly for more vision, but that could give it over to Gamtee.
Yeah, they do have a ward on it, however, so they will know if they do choose to engage it. Dandy looking for a pick on Tail in that bottom lane, actually, as well as Na, who has just transformed back to Mini Na. So maybe not much going to go down.
Yep, Let Me Not there. Doesn't have his Haunting guys yet either. Actually, presumably after level 11 there in the top lane, going to pressure the tier 2 a bit as well. So Vici have full control of the area right now, but Danger looking to get some wards down as well. Sightstone here for Jarvan as well. Getting, again, kind of a Dandy-esque performance on this Jarvan.
Yeah, and
at least in the build.
Just looking for the ultimate that came out of Dandy right there.
He did use the ulti. Vasily actually popped his as well. So there was a plan for Vici, but that's a couple of wasted ultimates there. Big engage tool's gone now.
Yeah, it certainly is. They turn straight away for the Dragon to try and get that one started up, but the teleport can come through here. Let Me's going in.
Yeah, he's going straight in here. The Dragon only a half health. Vici have to be careful, and they are going to back off the good equalizer. We'll cut them off now. Zerath's going to try and snipe them low. Vasily gets low, but spell shields a bolt crucially, but Let Me is flanking them around. Dandy here as well. Carry with no range, no tail, going in so deep, gets that first kill for Leo there onto Dandy. Now Carry bounding around. But now they're going to chase out there as well. Looks like Mata going to go down there for 3 for 1, sorry. As Carry now getting chased away. Will be safe here, but that was a big win for Gamtee.
Yeah, massive win, and maybe a questionable position for the teleport, but in the end it pays off. A good zoning equalizer, making sure everyone had to run across it, and Carry just wasn't able to evolve in a meaningful spot for that team fight.
No smite here, by the way, so you're going to have to be careful. Has to block the boulder toss. Does come in. Oh, that was so close. But Jarvan does secure the dragon for his team.
That dragon stopped on 1 health then. Able to pick up their second dragon of the game, so much better showing coming out of Vici here. They have a turret advantage as well as a gold advantage at this point as well, and Zerath not going to get any smaller as the game goes on. We'll go back and maybe even pick up that Death Cap probably is the next pickup.
Yep, seems like I misspoke on the first dragon. It was Gamtee that got it, and they make it their second here now as well. Vasily still farming through. He kind of tapped the mat there in that matchup as well. Avarice Plague was his next item instead of really trying to get the Infinity Edge going. So I think knew that he wasn't going to power up for a couple more minutes. Wanted to get a bit more gold flow happening.
Yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself. That is just forfeiting the lane. As we see Death Caps coming out for both mid laners, Syndra and Zerath. It's really important, though, that he gets himself back into a solo lane. All the lanes are pushing against Vici at the moment, apart from the mid lane that is just way too dangerous to him to go into. So he needs to pick up as much CS as possible as he takes a bit of a tour through the jungle at the moment. Otherwise, he's going to fall further and further behind. Corki is in the perfect spot. He doesn't need any more item space return.
Yeah, Danger here going to clear things out with the help of Dream and Leo. Zerath, a big power spike, as you mentioned, with the Rabadons, and Hetong the same as well. So big pick and burst potential there for Syndra, and massive poke potential now on the up and up for Gamtee as well. And Leo was instrumental in the zoning and damage in that last dragon fight. So Gamtee doing the right things. They're still slightly behind on gold, but 600 gold, nothing much at all, especially given that Gamtee have their 2 dragons. And we're in the opposite situation now. Gamtee, I guess with a slight lead, if you want to call Dragon that, but Vici with no dragons looking to defend the 3rd now when it comes up.
Yeah, and it is so hard to, I guess, take neutral objectives from behind. When you are against a Zerath, that guy is so annoying to have to run into. Throw a Rumble in the same team comp, and you may as well just take half your health bar off before you can even get on top of them, unless they get their pick.
Yeah, Vasily's IE has been finished now, though, so good power spike for him. Looks like Rumble not going for the guys, actually finishing a Zonya's Hourglass with Needlessly Loud Rod, plus the Arm Guard, so almost done there for himself. But Carry still massive here on this Gnar. 40 of 50 CS ahead, so Leo going to pick up his blue buff now for himself, though. I'm going to break out. Again, a bit more farming here while the next objective spawns. Both teams playing very carefully.
Yeah, they certainly are, and some confusion for Taylor. He actually looks like he's going for a last Whisper as second item as Corki. We talk about it a lot, just with the mixed damage that comes through, does not do as much as other items. And with only Gnar, really...
That's bad news there. Danger going to get grabbed up as well. Mata will play him back into the box. And there's a kill for Dandy. That's 2 for 0. Looks like the snipes are going to attempt, but the bolt's not going to quite hit. The lands the first one, but can't get the others there. So Leo potentially able to snipe them out. And bit of a weird fight there. Rumble just getting caught out.
Yeah, don't know exactly what happened there, but on the opposite side of the map to where any action should be, you would assume that is a double ultimate coming through from Sivir and Rengar and just getting in a good position. Mata's Flay that we just went to secured them that second kill as well. That guy is playing completely on point today.
He's pretty good at Thresh and League of Legends in general. I mean, I feel like Janna is a very Mata-esque champion where just so much control and mobility that you're able to be wherever you want to be and get vision. So was very impressed with his Janna play, especially at a macro level in the first game. But his Thresh has always been on point. Mata is just a fantastic all-round support player. He's not the MVP of Worlds for, coincidence.
Yeah, no, definitely not. If we just go back to the Corki item build for a little second, they've got a double AP composition. So the other team will naturally build MR. He really needs to be the consistent damage through these fights. So going for a last Whisper second just cuts out a lot of what can be consistent damage from either the BT or the Blade of the Roaring King, or that huge spike that comes through from the Infinity Edge.
And it's likely a misstep there for Tail, but for me that just signals one thing. He is so scared of that Gnar because of Carry's gotten massive so far with a big CS lead, and he's super tanky already.
Yeah, but he needs to trust in his support. We saw exactly how Vasily did it last game. Just went pure attack damage and able to get through with a very short-range carry like Sivir because of how good Mata played Janna, picking up that Crucible and just keeping him nice and safe. I feel that if you can't do that, you just need to get rid of the Gnar altogether, because that's not the way to play against it.
Yep, so we are back into the game here. Gamtee have actually been moving forward here. Pick up a tower for themselves in the mid lane, it looked like. Gonna go for this tier 2 now as well. Ultimate's not really available on the side of Gamtee. Used most of them already in their last little skirmish. And Vici falling behind a little bit now. Next Dragon up in a minute 30 as well.
Yeah, so losing some map pressure with the structures, 2 to 3. 7 to 7 kills, and Carry just went back into mini Gnar. And there is a huge discrepancy in the top side of the map. That is where Vici is ahead. So this Gnar, compared to, I guess, the Rumble, hasn't even... Wow, nice stun.
Oh, good stun, just missing. Good dodge from Matong. Danger going to dive in, though. And there's Leo with the snipe after Let Me's equalizer. Mata now going to get chased through as well. Tail going to Valkyrie in, and there's a kill for him. And GT really on the up and up.
Yeah, all of a sudden able to turn it around, and that's what I spoke of. If you catch out someone and you walk into a Xerath, you are forced to eat so much damage.
Yep, tier 2 tower going to fall as well, and Gamtee really looking to get aggressive here. Again, playing the one tank compy with the Java and Rumble, but using their engage and their disengage tools fantastically. And Leo Xerath on point so far. Inhibitor tower in the mid is going to fall down here as well, possibly even this inhib.
Yeah, so really good force here coming out of Gamtee, understanding that they're in control of this part of the map and able to get in there.
Oh, does get popped though. Dandy going in with the Cilia as well. Good slow there from Xerath. Trying to move the back line. That Carry though wants to go in. Tries to flash bounce. Gets 2 with the warp. Knars them back as well. But Tail's going to turn around for the damage as Dream gets hooked up by Mata. Now Carry in trouble. Vici get the first kill. They don't have to let me. Danger in trouble there as well as Dandy gets low but does not go down. That's 2 for 1 as Carry has gone out. Tail forced to flash out from under Syndra and Vici answer back.
Yeah, they definitely do. Dandy able to survive with the skin of his teeth there. Nearly went down to what is Leo's Xerath. The ultimate is back available. May even be able to defend this turret. No, they've just backed away, giving this one up.
Yeah, Dandy's low, but they can't see him, so no snipe forthcoming. And the Dragon is alive. Vici would love to get their first Dragon of the game. And they're going to rush towards it now as well. But Gamtee have 3 key members alive. They've got Dreams, Jana, and the ultimate for Leo. They have to be careful.
They certainly do, especially with Carry respawning with teleport. Let Me has his as well. Ooh.
Dandy, does dodge the last ball. Dragon low. Does go to Syndra, though. Hatong will secure that for his team, but Tail chasing it for Silly. Going down as an exit kill. Hatong now in trouble as well. Sonny's there for Let Me, keeps him alive. And 2 kills for Dragon there for GT.
And Vasily had to walk through the whole equalizer to get out of that Dragon pit. Just took way too much damage. 2 for nothing. As the super minions streaming down mid lane, they're going to be able to push in bottom.
Yep, the home guard teleport coming up big there for Let Me. Danger clearing out a ward. It will join Leo, Tail, and Dream here. They're going to push out the tier 2 in this bottom half of the map. A very slim lead for Gamtee in terms of goal, but they're up a Dragon and up in pressure for sure.
Yeah, and Tail turning it on this game. 3-0-7, having a stellar Corki performance. So even maybe if his build isn't optimal, really turning it on.
And we talk about him being a big Tristana player, loving to play the late game carry for his team, but he's just decided, you know what, I want to play a mid game carry, really be more decisive on our team so we can be more aggressive. And his team and his play has enabled so much more decisiveness this game for Gamtee.
Yeah, and they're playing this comp that has a Jana as well as a Xerath as still an engaged comp. That's why it was so confusing. They're executing it extremely well. Even the kite back that they used before to get Leo a lot of burst onto Hatong, what looked like a questionable draft has actually come up pretty big for Gamtee here.
Yeah, Mikhail's up for Dream as well, and they're able to keep Corki alive to let him go aggressive. Leo just kind of mediating in the team fights, being a semi-control mage and using the range where he can to help be aggressive when his team does want to go. And we actually saw that with, I think, the last game where we had Silverranger and then the Xerath to complement those as well. So Gamtee using their draft well here. And I mean, again, he said if that wasn't the plan on paper, it's looking real good in practice.
Yeah, it certainly is, and they're able to have pushed down all of the outer turrets but one in that top lane, so you would assume that is where their focus would be next, as there are still super minions coming down the mid lane.
Yep, 6 turrets down, 27 minutes or so in. Baron is up and ready, and we're kind of at the time of the game now where it's a very real objective to be taken by these teams. A little too powerful when it first spawns at 20 minutes, but absolutely doable here now at 27. And the vision is being placed down by GT now as well. They're actually getting aggressively onto the left-hand side, swapping the vision over from the bottom half to the top half. We talk about splitting the map, though, late game in this patch. Yeah,
it certainly does. Dragon is still such an important objective. Vici were able to get back their first Dragon with that last engagement. I thought that they were going to fly in there out of nowhere. Carry looking to get busy.
Yeah, he wants to go in. They pop Vici's ultimate. Dandy get a leap in. Good move there onto Leo. He gets locked down and gets eaten alive by Hatong Dream. And Tail fighting in. And Lemmy's got a great spot with Danger's Cataclysm. And look at the AoE damage coming through as well. There's some more kills. GT 3-1 up already. Carry going to go down as well. Make it 4 for 1 there. And Gamtee coming up massive.
Letme's equalizers have been amazing in these fights. Once again, able to split the whole team and force Vici one more time to run over the whole thing. This guy, from starting 1-6, is back to 5-6-8 and having an absolutely monster late game.
Who needs CS when you have kills here? Let me participating for his team. Kind of flying the true Rumble colors there as Baron is the objective that Gamtee wanted. There were furious pings onto it after that T2 got taken out. They'll make it 7 turrets and now a Baron for themselves as well.
Yeah, and that is a team fight that Vici started up. So able to kite back a little bit and then just turn it on as soon as that Rumble ultimate was down. Really nicely played. Empowered records coming through and they'll be picking up a big back.
Yeah, Leo already went back as well just to clear out the bottom half of the map that was pushing in towards the bottom tower there. Got a big amount of AP, 562 with that Baron buff there. 3 big items for himself, and an Apt Tome could roll into his next one as well. Trinity Force now, Bloodthirster being completed for Tail to go in with the Trinity Force and the Last Whisper. And my favorite thing in the world just got completed by Dream. There's a Banner of Command on Janna.
Banner of Command is such a cool item in this patch because it makes the Super Creep cannon immune to magic damage. Meaning unless Vici wants to pop his head out of the base or spam boomerangs at it, it is completely unkillable by Hatong.
Yep, I mean Syndra's pretty good at wave clear, but that's all magic damage. Vici, very good at wave clear. If you can afford to poke out at, what, 500 range there on that Sivir? So we saw it actually yesterday when Invictus Gaming did it. Gamtee are going for the Baron of Command again here.
And it is such a cool combo coming through.
Well, they're going to need a cannon minion, so they'll find one now for themselves as Gamtee rotate down towards the bottom.
Yeah, they definitely are. They just wanted to get that mid lane pushing into close to the inhibitor, just in case they do win a team fight. It's so important to be able to transition your minions around the map. So getting minion control in their favor, although top lane is completely against them right now. Letme's teleport nearly is up, so maybe send him back up there.
Yeah, have to be careful. Letme could go back if he wanted to. Does have Home Guard as well, so a pretty good candidate for that particular goal. And there he is, the big Baron creep there in the back. Going to start just whittling away at this turret. They've got poke here. They've got disengage with Janna. VG have no answer.
Yeah, they don't even look to try and start this one up. Even with Carry nearly about to evolve through. No ultimate coming through from Vici. Just giving it up completely.
Yep. I think if they really wanted to, they could monsoon to heal the creep as well. I can't remember if it heals creeps, but that would be adorable. As Dream now is going to back off. Tail poking as well. Actually adding decent amount of poking. They'll slowly but surely siege this. I would like to see Danger or let me block off Vici's boomerangs, although they do go through, so I guess it's not that bad. And that's Inhibitor's going to go down. Mid Inhibitor's free now as well. And Gamtee getting it done with a cannon minion.
Yeah, walking through the base, though, split. That is quite dangerous. Tail trailing behind. Is able to get away from it, so that will be the second inhibitor.
Yep, they're going to take this very easily now as well. VG have no response, and I love the Siege Breaker combo there from Gamtee. I didn't think we were ever going to see it again, but IG's creativity now maybe infectious here in the LPL as Gamtee looking to close out their first win here against Vici.
Yeah, and they're doing it after what was a rough early game in really, really decisive fashion. The first mid-push where they took that inhibitor really spells how they wanted to play this game, because once they got given anything, they were just willing to run with it.
And that was the thing when we've seen Gamtee play maybe late in last year. They've looked at their top strength when they're playing more objective focus around the map. They're not the best laners. King, I guess, is the team that came in from the LSPL that was known for strong, aggressive laners. Vici are going to get a dragon here, so that's their second, but still fighting from behind here up against Gamtee. About 5,000 gold between these two, but Gamtee, it seems like, when they get a lead, they play strategically actually very well for a new Chinese team.
Yeah, and after Dream has used that Banner of Command to break into the base, he's sold it and swapped back to the Mikhails. So just using it for that one push.
Yeah, that's all he needed. Talk about gold efficiency. They got a lot of work done there with that banner of Command. I mean, wasting a little bit in the exchange there, but Dream will take it there. So creative. Love to see that. I never thought we'd see that again. And that might, maybe now it's just the common thing here as GT are going to rotate down in, look to take out their last inhibitor turret of the game.
Yeah, and they don't need to rush this one whatsoever. 2 waves of super minions are about to crash into the base. Tail using that shield to, I guess, put down as much damage as possible. And now they'll just wave clear with Xerath and wait for it to come through.
Gamtee are looking, they have to close it out slowly. Their comp's not really good for diving or getting into big engages. And Vici do have lots of pick potential, so Have to be careful, but Gamtee have played the team fights very well so far.
They certainly have. I guess it now is on Hatong to see whether he can blow up one of the main carries, either Leo or Tail, in this team fight. You feel if the equalizer is in the right position, it might be curtains for Vici here.
And Vici, they've still got waves pushing in, carries down towards the bottom, clearing out. Then Nexus turrets are now under fire as well as carry looking to transform, going to clear that out, and GT are going to get it. Trinity Force Corky very good at poking, especially with the Janna, and that turret's got no health left. And that's one of the last turrets here of the game. Vici do not have very much base left.
They certainly don't, and they're about to lose one more piece of it as well. The pink ward's being crept up the whole time, making sure they can spot Dandy out. Really decisive play coming through.
Yep, most afraid of that Rengar. I guess they can probably shake off a Tongue stun with the Mikhails there. So as long as Gamtee play the last few minutes of this game very methodically like they've been doing all game long, and they're going to look to take their first LPL win. And we'll actually have, by the way, this is a fun piece of trivia. This will be our first ever 1-1 of LPL matches so far.
Yeah, it certainly will be coming through, and you feel if Vici want to make a move, they need to go right now.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to do something. They're running out of structures to defend here. Just the Nexus and its turrets left as Gamtee is poking back and forth. Danger going to ward down as well. Love the forward warding here for Gamtee, just wanting to have all of their options covered here. Don't want to get caught out by Vici and potentially lose what is a very one game at this point. Oh, it looks like one. Mata does going in, does flash in. Dandy pops in there as well. Danger, though, does block everyone off. That's a beautiful equalizer coming in, and Mata going to go down now. Carry in trouble, trying to jump on a tail. He actually gets the kill there. Tuatongs able to pick that one up. They're going to flash out of the way and reset the fight. Leo misses his stun. Let Me in trouble. Danger gets hit up there as well. But now Xerath moving in and snipes him up the back as Let Me takes out Syndra. And Let Me still cutting away. Vasily very strong here, but that's a great stun over the top there. Leo going massive on this Xerath, and this might be it, Spawn.
Yeah, all in all, Leo played that team fight at the end so well. Good counter engage coming through from GT, and they pick up their first win.
And wow, what a team to do it against as well. Vici Gaming, who looked so promising just coming into the LPL, but in this matchup especially, they're going to feel like they missed a point there. And, you know, there's a lot of matches we have to play in the LPL. That could hurt in the standings later on.
Yeah, it certainly could. That all-important 3 points has slipped away in what would have been a turning point in the season. But you really got to hand it to Gamtee for that second game. They played that so well.
Yeah, I mean, both teams want to here. Obviously, getting a max points is important, but they'll take it. They'll take their first points. They'll get on board for those standings. And against a team like Vici, that's a very impressive performance.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't. You got to say they really short up their pick bands. I was unsure how the second one went, but they played that composition so well. In game one, they played a very good pick band phase as well. Maybe they're turning a corner here.
Maybe, and it was a great day to watch.
Yeah, it certainly was. I think we actually have an interview for the last... No, we don't.
None of those things, unfortunately. But we're unfortunately done for our LPL coverage. Got a lot to talk about as we sign off here. Guys, LPL will be back tomorrow here on Riot Games 2, so check that out on that Twitch stream. LCK is happening over at Riot Games 1, so check them out as well for your Korean League of Legends pick. And don't forget, of course, we'll be moving over to see the last two teams to qualify for the OPL in the Oceanic Challenger Series continuing over on twitch.tv/Riot Games Oceania. So we'll see you there. We'll see you tomorrow. And for now, good night.